Good to start. Amanda.
Welcome all fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's meeting. Our club, Toastmasters for Professionals, is a global club based out of California and USA, and we focus on skills related to interview preparation, career guidance, and related topic. Before we start today's meeting, let me state 3 ground rules which we will follow in today's meeting. The first one is, as a Toastmaster, we don't discuss about sex, religions, and politics. And second, please put yourself on mute when you are not speaking. The last one, please turn off your video if you are stepping out of the meeting. So now, I'm very excited to announce today's meeting will be commerce. So go back to our today's Toastmaster, Sarika. Okay.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from different parts of the world. When Mary asked me what should be the theme of the meeting, I realized I really like women and I like empowered women. So I'm going to define what empowerment means to women in today's theme. I want to understand the journey of a woman, introspective and in a retrospective manner. And I also want to understand how pasta plays a very important role in the professional life of a woman. Before I start with my theme of the day, I would want all my tag team to introduce themselves. My first tag person is our counter and grammarian 2-into-1, Susan. Can you please introduce yourself, Susan?
Yes, hello. I am Susan Schultz, member of the club and club mentor with Ashvin. My job today will be to keep track of the filler words, as, ums, buts, so's, you knows, and wells, but also the word of the day, which I am going to present. Along with your theme, what do pasta and professionalism have in common? They both require preparation. So the word preparation actually has 3 different meanings. The first meaning, the action or process of making ready or being made ready for use and consideration, such as the preparation of a draft contract. I will be listening for any synonyms, such as devising, composing, editing, fashioning, concocting, production, and so on. The second meaning is something done to get ready for an event or undertaking, such as making preparations for the party. That would be arrangements, planning, provision. And then the third meaning of the word preparation is actually a substance that is made up and usually sold as either a medicine or food. Those other synonyms would be mixture, compound, concoction, composition, and such. I will be listening for the word of the day and any of the synonyms. They are in the chat and I will repost that shortly. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, grammarian and our counter. Next, I would want to call Timer Shukrat to talk about his role.
Hello, good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Myself, today in this meeting, I'm playing the role of timer. Timer plays a crucial role in the meeting, because when you speak in a flow, and to maintain the flow and the timer helps you in to say at what time you need to stop and at what time you need to give pauses. So I will be displaying the cards like red, yellow, and green in the respective time. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhu. Please note the evaluator will tell you the time of the speech for the respective speaker. Thank you. All right. I was married at 20. At 20, when a girl is supposed to dream and understand what her future should be, she is supposed to decide what should be cooked the next day. In India, I would want to bring focus to the Indian household. The preparation of what is being cooked is majorly dependent on the women of the household. Pasta can actually be anything. If you're from West, you can replace pasta with your staple food. In India, the staple food might be rice, flatbreads, or what we call as chapatis, and anything and everything that you can actually eat. Why pasta? Because of late I have developed a very beautiful taste for pasta, and I really like the variety of in the range of how many pastas we have in this world. So when I was married at 20, I had this very important thing going on in my life. I was doing my master's. And as a woman or a girl is expected to prepare pasta and prepare for her exams with equal tenacity. You cannot go below 80% in your examination because then your intelligence will be questioned, and the pasta cannot be raw because then your womanhood will be questioned. It took me a lot of time to understand that it's okay to go unprepared sometimes. But my question always lingers: how is the world ready for an unprepared woman? Are we really not helping a woman if she is unprepared? That's the reason I told you my theme today will be more of an introspective and a retrospective journey. You might find instances where you actually relate to my stories, and it's absolutely fine because we all have mothers in law, we all have mothers, and we all have women who actually help you and sometimes betray you. Today, we have speakathon. So I would want to take a pause here because there are almost six speakers. And I would want to continue my part after the third speaker. For the first speaker, I would request Evaluator 1, Jay, to bring on his input and then bring Kamesh on the virtual stage. Jay, can I please have you?
Thanks, Toastmaster Sarika. So today I will be evaluating a speech of Toastmaster Kamesh, and Toastmaster Kamesh is delivering his project of evaluation and feedback, which speech 2. So in this speech, he would be practice applying feedback. So he would inform us about at least one change in the speech or delivery, what he is making and attempting to incorporate in his today's speech based on the first evaluation he has received. So before he starts the speech, I would request him to inform us what changes he is trying to incorporate based on his first evaluation 1. Yes, Toastmaster comments.
Hello everyone, good morning, good evening. This is Kamesh. Today I'll be delivering the speech 2 of implementing the feedback from the previous speech. Mainly, I'll be focusing on improving the time management. Second thing is maintaining the good vision in terms of the way I represent myself, and focusing more on the time management.
Thank you. Thank you. Over to you. You can start the speech, Toastmaster Kamis.
Jay, can you please tell the time of the speech for Shukra? How many minutes should he read?
Yeah. Yes, 5 to 7 minutes time.
So 5 green, 6 yellow, and 7 red sugar. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Every day we face with challenges in our daily life, and the challenges are overwhelming sometimes. Challenges can be life-threatening, and few challenges could be like roadblocks, and so on. What are we do when we face such challenges? If I ask this question to every one of you, the answer may vary because it all depends on who we are, what we think, what we face, and how big is that problem for each individual. Sometimes we struggle with self-doubt and confidence, but there is a hope. I will tell you, like, everyone has the ability to make a decision and determine how we embrace through these challenges. Especially when we think, when a person thinks that he can do that, definitely he can. If he thinks he can't do, he can't. So it all depends on how strongly we believe in that situation and how we embrace ourselves when we leading through these challenges. If we think that we can, the challenge can become an opportunity. Otherwise, the challenge, we always see that as a roadblock forever. Let me give you an example. Most of us are familiar with the sports called cricket. If a player wants to be a successful player and if he wants to represent a country or play for a country, the player has to go through a lot of obstacles. It is not as easy as we think to represent a country in any sport. The player has to focus on his fitness, his performance, his consistency, leadership, and many more. And once he overcome all these obstacles and start representing a country, the story never ends there. He has to focus on maintaining that consistency throughout his journey. And throughout his journey, he may face different types of obstacles. And what are the things that we need to focus, especially when the things around us are chaotic? We need to focus on self-care, which is the key. Taking healthy food, being hydrated, sometimes taking decision making, and many more. Especially when we are struggling with a lot of challenges in life, I feel taking inputs from others is key, which will help us to take a right decision at right amount of time. When leading through these kind of challenges in my personal life, I have learned a simple 5-step process, which I always remember in a short form as CLBTE. So it's a 5-step process. In this, the first step is to choose the goal and determine why we want to achieve it. We can correlate this simple process, especially for most of us in our Toastmasters journey, because most of us are had the challenge of public speaking or lack of confidence or not able to speak in the impromptu speeches and so on. So we need to choose a goal, what we want to achieve. If you want to become a public speaker, that should be one of the goals. So at any point of time, choose one goal and try to excel in that. The next one is L. L means list down all the things that needs to happen to achieve that goal. So one example is finding the right club, choosing a mentor, seeking feedback, all these, and participating in multiple events, delivering speeches, these are all the, and so on. These are the list of things that needs to happen to become a successful public speaker. And the next thing is brainstorm all the possible obstacles and be prepared on how to handle those situations. So we need to make sure, like, sometimes we may not be able to participate in a event. Sometimes the personal life may not support us to join or attend an important meeting. Sometimes we may not be able to deliver a speech as we expected. So anticipate all these roadblocks and be prepared. The fourth one is turn all the obstacles into strategies. How you will do that is, if you want to deliver a successful speech, you need to practice in front of mirrors. Maybe you need to give that speech to your wife or your family member or a friend, or choose the best topic and try to engage the audience. These are all different kinds of strategies that we need to follow, especially when we are delivering the speech, right? So turn all the obstacles into strategies and identify the right games to identify the right meetings to attend. Then try to execute all these steps to become a successful speaker. So these are the 5-step process which will help most of us in leading to any of these small challenges, especially in our personal life or a professional life. So to conclude, I would say, like, our thoughts create reality. So choose the positive thoughts and the emotions, and then take those emotions, take the action from those emotional states, and overcome the obstacles. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kamesh. Sarika has a problem with her laptop, so I request everyone to take 1 minute and give feedback to Kamesh in private chat. Anyone let me know when 1 minute is over.
Yes, sir, it's done.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Ram. It's a coincidence that he's the cousin of first speaker. Let me invite speech evaluator for him, Toastmaster Vamshi.
Thank you, Raghu. I'm the evaluator for the Raghuram. The speech title is the project level is level 1 speech and evaluation. The title is the pandemic and its shades of gray. Yeah, the pandemic and its shades of gray. Raghuram Karan. Audio.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu and Vamshi. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about the pandemic and its shades of gray. This is a repetition of my previous speech with few corrections based on the feedback received. I did thorough preparation for today's speech. Before I get into sharing my experiences, I would like to know how many of you remember your first month of pandemic. I see some responses. I don't think we can ever forget it, right? Every one of us has a memory of the first few months that we remember as if it was yesterday. I would like to share today a little bit with you all about the changes that Corona brought into my life. Like every experience, this also came with some positives and negatives. With the coronavirus started spreading rapidly across the globe, on March 16th of 2020, my co-workers and I were told to start working from home, and the office building would be closing temporarily. At that time, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment. I had no work area to set up at home before that and was doing that for the first time. I hope most of us were doing that for the first time. All while living with a toddler, my wife, and also my mother-in-law, who was visiting for a few months. The bedroom was given to my mother-in-law while we slept on the floor in the living room. All this would be just all right had it been a regular few months. But in light of Corona, you can imagine how hard it was. I set up my office space in the living room. It was hard to keep our toddler quiet on those days when I had a production issue call, and the call goes for hours at a stretch. We had somehow made up our mind and had adjusted to the situation gradually. But I still remember the dreadful feeling I got every time I heard some bad news coming from friends or relatives due to the coronavirus. The most difficult part was that there was no distraction from it, since we were almost restricted between our four walls. All these experiences made us all restless. My wife and I had discussed at length about the situation, and something really positive happened, which helped us cope through our restlessness. Of course, during the pandemic, we did save a lot of money without effort, as we weren't eating out as often, we were not traveling, and we didn't even spend much on gas. At the same time, the home loan interest went down drastically in the United States. My wife and I both thought this was the perfect time to become homeowners. Things were still uncertain around us, and we had fear moving forward too. But we all needed a ray of hope, a bigger space that we can call our own. And then we bought a house in the peak of the pandemic. We moved just 2 months later. This was definitely a dream come true. The rest felt like history. For the next few months, we were so occupied learning new things about being homeowners, and time passed so quickly. To conclude, I'm sure you would agree when I say the only thing we all wished for at that time was to be safe and get through the year. With time, fears and restlessness slowly fades away. With each experience in our life, we face new challenges, but also learn to be resilient and come out stronger than ever. I realized this once again in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raghuram. Now we have Toastmasters Sarika. Sarika,
I'm so sorry, my laptop crashed. My phone was not working, so I logged in through laptop, and it's very in sync with what we have. Uh, I don't know, the title is really on spot with what happened with me a few minutes ago. Before I invite Speaker 3, can I please ask Evaluator 3 Pramod to give his inputs for Speaker 3?
Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests, morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today, our speaker, Toastmaster Vamshi, is going to deliver a speech, level 3 speech from the path leadership development. The project objective says that the speaker should learn to draft a speech, practice it, and deliver in order to inspire the audience. The time allotted for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Timer, please note that green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. And the speaker will get 30 seconds to wrap up the speech after the red card. Title of the speech is Overcoming Adversity. How I found strength in the face of challenge. I wish all the best to our speaker, Toastmaster Vamshi. Over to you, Vamshi.
Thank you, Pramod. Greetings of the day, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Today, I want to share with you a story that deeply impacted my life and taught me the true meaning of resiliency and determination. It's a story of overcoming adversity and finding the strength in the face of the challenges. A few years ago, I faced a daunting challenge that impacted me at first. My father, who had been my rock and guiding light, was diagnosed by the illness. It struggled me for me to overcome the situation and maintain my responsibilities for my personal professional life. During this time, I learned valuable lessons during that time. I want to tell you the few lessons that I learned in that situation. The first lesson I learned was the power of resiliency. I want to share the one situation that I faced during that time. In spite of any situation, I learned the one thing that I handled one situation I dig into deep myself that situation, and I find out the solution for that, overcoming the situation. I realized that resiliency is not avoiding the challenges, to overcome that and pushing on. The second lesson I learned was supporting from the unexpected places. As naturally as an introvert, I have to difficult to open up and ask help. I realized that I couldn't do it myself to overcome the situation. I requested support from my parents and friends and colleagues, and I got the help from them. That is the third lesson I learned from the situation, is the power of integrity. Here, in this situation, what I learned, sometimes any situation bad situation is coming, you can't realize you can't look into the big picture of the holistic picture of the situation. I always believe that, believe myself and overcome the challenges which I faced during that situation. And fourth lesson I learned is to overcome the adversity. Sometimes situations it won't come into control. We need to overcome the situation to find the strength to overcome and find out the solution and to become the better in that situation. So far, these are the lessons I learned that based on my situation, my father, as his father, my other illness, these are the lessons I learned. And how to overcome the adversity, like some situations to overcome the challenges, to find the strength and to move on. In conclusion, I would like to say that all situations won't in our control. Sometimes you need to get it out of it and you need to find the strength to overcome the challenges. Thank you. Over to you. Thank you.
So much, Vamshi. Adversities are different for everyone, and the way we come out of adversities is actually a moment to pat ourselves on the back. With this, I want to understand, what did I do after I learned that pasta is my favorite, and how am I preparing for the exams and for the pasta? If you are aware of a typical Indian household, you will understand majority of us stay in a joint family. In a joint family, you will have different people with different tastes. Someone would like their pastas with chili flakes, someone would like their pastas minus chili flakes, someone would want white sauce, someone would want a red sauce. I'm not going into the aesthetic details of the pronunciation of these sauces, but I know all of us understand what does the white and the red sauce mean. Now, when you're preparing pasta and you have 10 different taste buds at home, how do you challenge yourself to fulfill everyone's appetite? As a woman, it becomes very difficult in a household and in a professional life to maintain balance. Sometimes you look at the majority and you mix chili flakes because then you are like, okay, it's okay, just pick up a can of Coke, get along with it, take a bottle of wine, take a bottle of beer, whiskey, whatever comes to your, whatever is in your reach. Sometimes when they're young kids, you can tell them after pasta, you have dessert. Sometimes you miss those chili flakes and tell them that probably chili flakes bottle is empty and there was no one to restock it. When I look at how do we balance our personal and professional life, I wonder how many times we ignore what we really want to eat. We ignore, where do I want to reach in my professional life? We ignore or we push it under the carpet as to what does a woman want. What do you want? What do I want? Have we ever taken this into consideration? To all the men here, this question might sound offensive, but how many times did we help our fellow partners of the opposite sex? How many times the women in this room have put her foot down and said, today I want to eat a bland pasta. Just want to boil, put some salt, sit before a phone and eat pasta just like that. Do not question my sanity. How many times do we put our foot down in our professional life and say, I do not want to become a manager. I am happy being a senior associate. Do not challenge my intellectual. Do we do this? Are we sufficient enough to put our foot down and challenge our status quo? To answer these questions, I would take a pause here and I would want to invite speaker number 4 onto the virtual stage. Before speaker 4, I would want to invite his evaluator Ashwin to give his inputs. Toastmaster Ashwin, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Today, Guillermo is going to deliver his first speech, Level 1 Icebreaker. And his title is, It is the Courage That Counts. And his speech is 4 to 6 minutes timer. Thank you.
May I begin now?
James, yes, over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Guillermo Jaime Sandoval. I am a video editor. I was born in Mexico and I moved to the US when I was 13 years old. I love watching movies, traveling, and I'm overall very happy with my life. But there is a tiny problem that I'm trying to overcome. Maybe not that tiny. When I was little, my family and I used to take vacations to a beach resort. It was a blast. The food, the people, the ocean. One day, Mom and Dad tell me and my brother that we are going to be performing at a kids' dance competition. My brother and I were horrified. We were very shy and didn't like talking to new people. To go from that to having to dance in front of hundreds of strangers was unthinkable. The time for the competition came, and we begrudgingly got up to the stage. Hundreds of eyes were watching us. Everything was quiet. The DJ flipped a switch, and the music started playing. We didn't know how to dance. We moved our arms to the rhythm of the music and looked at the audience. Now, luckily for us, all the kids had to dance at the same time. So each parent was looking at their own children. We camouflaged ourselves among the rest of them and stayed in the back for the rest of the contest. I kept thinking, what would happen if I was the only one on stage? The end of the world. Meteorites would start falling from the sky. Dinosaurs would chase me. Horrific things. As I've gotten older, I've learned that one way to get past fear is to fail. If you bore a crowd, then the bad thing has already happened. And you realize that you are okay. You didn't accomplish what you wanted, but nothing terrible happened either. Next time you speak, you will be a little less concerned about the horrible things that could happen, and a little more concerned about what you want to happen and how to get there. Now, just because you've given a successful speech does not mean that you are done. It does not mean that you will never bore an audience again. It doesn't mean that you will never get booed. Every time it's different. There are unknowns in every situation. We as humans fear the unknown. And so I do not believe that the fear of public speaking ever goes away completely. However, it can be minimized with practice. That's why I'm here, to chip away at that fear. I have joined Toastmasters to overcome the problem that I have. Today, I am breaking the ice with my icebreaker. Every day we have a choice. Are we going to let fear or success stop us? Or will we keep going into the unknown? Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Thank you, everyone. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have another icebreaker today by Doreen. And before I call Doreen, may I please ask Mary, Evaluator 5, to come on the stage and give her inputs.
Thank you. Toastmaster of the day, Very warm welcome to all fellow Toastmasters, guests, and most importantly, my speaker, Doreen. The purpose of this speech today is for Doreen to introduce herself to the club and the members and to learn the basic structure of a public speech. As an evaluator, I would also be looking at clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level of the speaker, interest of the audience. Her pathway is persuasive influence. And as an evaluator, even at icebreaker, I would still want to see that the speaker has persuaded the audience. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mary. Please help me welcome Doreen. 3 things are true. 3 things are true, Toastmaster Doreen. Over to you.
Thank you. Greetings, fellow Toastmaster. My name is Doreen Galley, and my pronouns are she and her, and the only title I use, if you'd like to be formal, is doctor. For anyone attending via audio only or has any type of vision disability, I'm wearing an azure blouse. I have my white pearls on. I have my readers on. I'm a white female with dark blonde, soft curly, long hair. 3 things are true. Only 3 of these things are true. Now, preparation might have let some of you know what could be it, but we're not sure. So I'd like everyone to go to the chat and type in a letter A, B, C, or D. Is it A? I was one of the engineers that got companies back online after 9/11. Is it B? I have been to a body farm in Walker County. C? I led one of the first manufacturing and supply chain digital transformations. And D, I'm a Thomas Edison superfan. So quickly, if everyone can pick A, B, C, or D, 3 of these things are true. 1 is false. Tell me which one you think is false. Hopefully everyone had a chance to put a letter in.
You said false, Doreen?
False, correct. So is it D? Am I Thomas Edison superfan? Well, when I was in the middle of 8th grade, my family, I'm the youngest of 5 children, but just myself, I was the youngest, moved with my parents down to a town called Fort Myers, Florida, which was the winter home of Thomas Edison. And I got to tour his lab monthly. Absolutely loved it. This guy had so many inventions, it wasn't even funny. So later in life, when I went to IBM as an executive running the innovation centers, I brought the intellectual property program from software and research over to services, and myself became a master inventor, and they gave me this really cool ring for it. Later, and most recently in life, I was the Azure patent lead, and I got 2 of these puppies, which is what Microsoft gives for a patent. Now, the second one was supposed to arrive today, but FedEx was late, so I can't show it to you. So yes, I am a Thomas Edison super fan, and every time I get a patent, I think about my time back to a child going to his labs. Is it C? I led one of the first manufacturing supply chain digital transformations. Well, some of you might be familiar, I once worked at Dell. And I had the team that did web analytics and other data stuff. I also had the frictionless e-commerce team. But Michael Dell had a question. If I can see all of this about my website, why can't I see everything that's going on in my company on my BlackBerry? It was about 15 years ago. So I got 2 people from the business. We managed to bring all the data together with a federated data layer of 50 terabytes that changed 360,000 times an hour into a 15 petabyte warehouse. And Michael could see everything on his BlackBerry. So yes, I did lead one of the first major digital transformations in the manufacturing supply chain space. As a matter of fact, today people are still trying to do manufacturing 5.0 and industry 4.0. I did go on to also write the quintessential transformation guide in this space for Gartner when I was a GTP analyst. So C is true. B, have I been to a body farm in Walker County? Now, has anyone seen the TV show Walking Dead where people come back from the dead and they're walking like zombies. Maybe a little bit? That sounds kind of creepy, right? You're thinking it must be that. When I was at AT&T, I was a strategist, and one of my customers, they had their own customer that had this emergency preparation site in Georgia, and they wanted to make it authentic. And they're like, Doreen, can you get us any bodies? The week before, I was touring Sam Houston State University, where they were trying to recruit my son. And one of the things they have is a body farm. And so I went back to this university to see their body farm, to see if we could make an arrangement. And lo and behold, driving there, I passed a sign that says entering Walker County. I could not believe entering Walker County when I'm going to see a dead body farm where they study dead bodies. Kind of creepy, true. Now, what about A? Was I one of the engineers on companies that got back online after 9/11? Well, in 9/11, I was at IBM and lived in Atlanta. Interestingly, the first attack was not the physical attack, it was a virus attack. And so all of our customers had flipped to business continuity. And so when the physical attack came, most people don't realize this, all the companies had no business continuity, and we almost could not get all the banks and the stock markets back online to tell you what was happening. We did some magic science and we did get everyone back online. However, I was not one of the engineers. I was in my first executive role at IBM as a director. So I was not one of the engineers that got companies back online. Forgot to do that. They say it doesn't matter. It matters who you know. You've heard that a lot, right? It matters who you know, but it actually matters more who knows what you know. So I'm hoping at this point, y'all know a little bit more about me and you know what I know, because right now I'm looking for a seat. So if you know anybody looking for a fantastic problem solver, I've been there, done that. I do first of kind, and if 13 people failed solving it before, I'm good to go. Please send them my way. I'd love to meet them because I can't wait to find a new problem to solve. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Doreen. The last in today's speaker is Speaker Raghu. Before I call Speaker Raghu, okay, how do I call you, Lee? Speaker Raghu. Who is your evaluator?
Apologies, Yodley is still sleeping, not waking up. We tried our best. So I would request somebody in the room to evaluate my speech. TM Padma Kumar, will you be comfortable evaluating my speech?
Absolutely, no problem.
My project is evaluation feedback speech 1. And speech title is with the Toastmaster.
May I please call Padma Kumar, TM Padma Kumar, to give his inputs before I call speakers Raghu on the stage.
So I'm going ahead with what Raghu just mentioned, that he is giving project 1, the second speech of project 1, where he takes inputs from the audience about the first delivery, incorporates that into the second time that he is delivering the speech. Assume that's the right situation, Raghu?
Speech 1.
Okay, speech 1. And the time is 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best, Raghu.
Thank you so much, TM Padma Kumar. Speaker 6, Raghu. I wish I could. Raghu. Toastmaster Raghu. Over to you.
They say, when it's the time for your death, your entire life just goes around before eyes. It flashes. And you keep saying, I wish I wish I could. I wish I could have been a father. I wish I could have been a better parent. I wish I could have been a better husband, better wife, better human being. I wish. I wish. I was about 18 years old. And I still remember that day, early morning at 7 a.m. My mom came to me and said, Raghu, I want to say something. I want to discuss about your father. What, mom? Early morning? Give me some space. Being that incompetent teenager, I wanted space from my own mother. She left. She did her chores, and after some time, she came back and she said, Raghu, I have consumed poison, I'm dying. And she had to be rushed to the hospital. We did everything that we could. But those were the last words. She wanted to say something about the father. We could not do it. Only thing she said was that she was dying. When we took to the hospital, she couldn't speak anything at all. And by the evening, she was gone. I loathed myself. I didn't look in the mirror for years to come. I hated myself all along. I wish I could. I wish I could have been a better son and listened to what she had to say. I wish I could. It continued, and even till date, the day flashes like anything. Things continue. I had to face this. Many things in my life after I lost my mother. But one thing remained constant was when I loathed myself for being a bad son. I wish I could have heard her that day, what she had to say. Maybe I could have consoled her. Maybe I could have changed her decision. Well, things continue. After I got married, my wife's aunt, or rather, the family friend, she just looked like my mother. And I, one day, went to her and said, I want to call you as a mother and not as an aunt. And she agreed to it instantly. And we had a bonding just like I had with my mother. Corona comes, and guess what? Things went too low, and she was admitted in the hospital. I came to know about it a little later, of 1 week after that. But I kept giving excuses. I have this Toastmaster meeting, I have my office meeting, I have to go there, I have to do this. I don't want to go to hospital in Corona, and blah, 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 blah. I went to visit after 2 weeks. I kept reminding myself of the differences that we had just few weeks before that instant. Oh, we had that difference. I don't have that good relation with her at this point. I will not go. And I kept giving excuses. But when finally I went to her, I didn't get to see her because she was in ICU and nobody was allowed there. After 1 month, she was shifted to another center where I got to see her. Body was swollen. She cannot talk. And that reminded me all the emotions when I saw my mother, when she struggled to speak in the hospital, but she could not utter a single word. I need to know what was going to happen. It was inevitable. And 2 days later, she was no more. I lost my mother second time. Isn't it what we do in our life? Keep saying, I have my Toastmaster meeting. Keep saying, I have that to do, this to do, I have to do that. And then start ignoring our relationships. That friend said something. And we forget all the good things that he did. Shout at mother, ignore her, and forget about what all she did all her life or any other relationship we do. But this two instant in my life pushed me to realize the value of any relationship. I'm holding what all I have, even though I had differences with my father after my mother's death. But when it came time that when he called up and he said he wanted to see his grandson, he wanted to meet me, I didn't resist. I allowed him back in my life again. When he came to see me, I just hugged him and cried for a long time. Why do we stop valuing our relationship or people that we have around who are helping us? I would say, instead of saying, I wish I could, when things have just surpassed, why can't we do it? That Netflix series can wait. That meeting that you're going to attend can wait. The book that you're reading can wait. The time is ticking, my friend. Instead of saying, I wish I could, I would. I would is the statement that you must use. Start valuing each and every relationship. Enjoy each and every day that you can. Otherwise, just like me, you will keep saying, I wish I could. I wish I was master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Raghu. I wish I could have a better relationship with myself. I wish I could have an ability to love and respect myself. As a woman, if I do that, I will be a better mother, I'll be a better wife, I'll be a better family provider. I will also focus on my professional life. Every time we think about this, we want to find perfection in everything we do. 40 years of my life, I have met numerous women and they have just one concern. I want the pasta to be perfect. I want my professional life to be perfect. But I say sometimes let pasta be overcooked. Sometimes let it be undercooked. Sometimes it's okay to let go of an appraisal. Sometimes it's okay to just cry because your manager shouted at you or things were not balanced. Maybe we do not agree that everyone seeks perfection. But as a woman, we have all been raised to cook and to work 100% perfectly. So before I finish my theme of the day, before I finish a very, very conflicting topic we have at our home, we have it ourselves, I want to ask each one of you, how many times did you undercook or overcook your pasta? And how many times did you let go of the professional achievement? With this, I would want to come to the evaluation round of our meeting. May I please call upon the first evaluator, Jay, to evaluate Speaker 1, Toastmaster Kamesh. Jay, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. The Toastmaster comments, his speech title was very powerful. How to turn challenges into opportunity. And the way he started, I liked it very well. He was engaging with the audience. And he also, in the beginning, he narrated 2 areas of improvement he was attempting. And he asked it both of them. Like one thing which he was telling, that way of presentation. So it was very well a way of presentation. His body language, hand gestures were very good, and he managed well in within the time, which was his second area of improvement he was targeting, time management. So he managed well in both the areas. And the most beautiful part about his speech, which I like, was the acronym. He gave the acronym of CLBTE, like it was the formula how you tackle the challenge. So his formula was quite bit complex, but however, it seems that he turned this challenge of complex formula also into the opportunity. And with this kind of acronym, he made it very easy to understand by the audience. And I saw that in the chat. Guest Vinay was also excited, and we are all are excited to implement this formula, and it is very well received formula and with a good acronym which can be easily remembered. Only a few areas of improvement I would suggest that if what I feel that you give the general example of Toastmaster in this formula. However, I would love to see some of your personal or professional challenges which you have tackled with this kind of a formula. That would I feel that it would make it more powerful and your speech more powerful. And another thing, like conclusions seem to be bit hurried and abrupt. Rather than that, if you could have included some of the example with this kind of formula, how your life has changed, then it would have been a more powerful. Overall, a very well delivered speech with both the areas of improvement managed well, and with the formula to challenge, to turn the challenge into opportunity, which will stay with us for the long time. Thank you, Toastmaster Kamesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chair. Thank you, Toastmaster Kamesh. May I call upon Toastmaster Vamshi to evaluate Toastmaster Raghuram's speech. Toastmaster Vamshi, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I'm using CRC technique to evaluation for the Raghuram. The command and recommend and command. The command the speaker for selecting the relatable topic for his speech, overcome the challenges during the pandemic and how the work culture he followed and the lifestyle, how he followed the lifestyle. It was a great choice that resonated with many of us, and it captured our attention from very beginning. He started with the date and what are the challenges he faced. He explained initially in the beginning. I appreciated the speaker's use of personal anecdotes to illustrate his points. It made the speech engaging and helped us connect with the speaker's experience. One recommendation I have is to provide some more examples from the speaker's experience to further illustrate the challenges faced and strategies used in his pandemic journey. This would add more. It helps us better to relate to the speaker's experience. Another recommendation is to incorporate more vocal variety and pacing to add more dynamic to this speech. And I want to commend the speaker for his courage and determination in taking the challenge of pandemic and for sharing his personal journey with us. It was truly inspiring to hear about his transformation and how he got the success. I also want to commend the speaker for their clear structure and organization of the speech. The speech had a strong opening, a body, and conclusion, which made it easy to follow, to understand. Lastly, I want to commend the speaker for their positive and motivational tone throughout the speech. It left us with a sense of encouragement and motivation to face his challenges and strive for success during pandemic. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vamshi and Toastmaster Raghuram, for your speech. May I next call upon Toastmaster Pramod to evaluate Toastmaster Vamshi. Toastmaster Pramod, over to you.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow and future Toastmasters, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. The moment Vamshi started his speech, and when he mentioned that it's a story from his own life, the connection was instant, because we all love to listen to personal stories. Vamshi, he had taken an appropriate topic to inspire the audience, which is the project objective. And the first commentation is about the topic. One, speaker selection, topic selection, and second, it was well structured. It had a definite opening, body, and conclusion, and he had divided the three elements into three buckets, and he delivered it perfectly. And his pacing was also really good. But in certain places, I found that it was more than what is needed. Overall, the speech was really good. It met the project objective and he delivered it nicely. But I have few recommendations for Vamshi. First is to use the power of emotions. So when you deliver a speech from your personal life or your personal story, and for example, this is an emotional speech. When you talk about your father, the difficulties that had been happened to your family, I was looking for the melancholy on your face, but that was missing. So whenever you are delivering an emotional speech, whether it is happiness, sad, angry, or whatever emotions, make sure that it is visible on your face, because your body language is something which is very powerful. Second is the power of details. You must have noticed that I didn't have anything to detail about your speech in the commentation because your speech was missing details. Whenever you are explaining a story, it has to be in detail. Some detail should be there so that we can embellish it, we can relate it, and we can connect with audience further. And also, after the speech, we expect certain questions, and keep all those in your mind when you're delivering a speech and try to answer those questions as well. And the last thing is power of time. In Toastmasters, we all found it very difficult to end our speech within time because time is insufficient. And if I am not wrong, you used less than 5 minutes for the speech. The topic was really good, personal stories. You could have drafted the speech a little bit more and practiced well so that it will fill the entire time, and you could have done your preparation much better to impress the audience and inspire the audience. The speech was good in certain aspect, and with this little improvement from your side, I'm sure that you can take this speech to the next level. All the best for your all future speeches. Back to the Toastmaster of the day, Sarika.
Thank you, Pramod.
So much, Pramod, for evaluating. Thank you, Vamshi, for your beautiful speech. Next, I would like to call upon the virtual stage evaluator 4, Toastmaster Ashwin, to evaluate Guillermo Imes, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Guillermo, that was a great speech. You had my attention at your title. It is the courage that counts. It reminds me of a Winston Churchill quote that says, "Success is not final. Failure is not final. It is the courage to continue that counts." I want to give you applaud because your preparation for this speech was fantastic. You had the basic speech structure, the intro, the body, and the conclusion. In your intro, what I heard is what you liked, video editor, which I liked too. What I liked also that you said that you were very happy with your life. I mean, you could have just dropped the mic and said, okay, I'm done. But you gave a little hook into your story. You're like, wait, there's more. And it was the premise of why it is your courage that counts. And that story was fantastic. I love also that you stood up, especially for your icebreaker. We tend to just sit down and just slump and everything, right? But you stood up, you had great hand gestures. Are you sure this is not your icebreaker, not your second speech? Because you did a great job. I love one of the couple of quotes that I want to say to you is that fear the unknown. You gave me courage by saying that. And that your courage to join Toastmasters, I mean, keep going, right? You're already starting at a running start. Push yourself, challenge yourself. And I also love that you said that breaking the ice. Breaking the ice with the icebreaker. I also love that too. I also noticed that your speech tempo was good too. Just to challenge yourself. I mean, I know this is your first icebreaker, and the next one you will improve on too, is a little bit of more vocal variety too. Your hand gestures were great. I could see them. They were very noticeable. And it seemed like you're kind of reading from something too, but that's okay, because this is your icebreaker. Don't worry, because you did a fantastic job. So I'm looking forward to hearing your next speech again. Thank you, Guillermo.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashwin and Guillermo. May I please invite our fifth evaluator, Toastmaster Mary, to evaluate Toastmaster Doreen's icebreaker. Toastmaster Mary, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, and a special thank you to also my speaker, Doreen. For the evaluation, the first thing I'm going to look at, and I always look at, would be the title of the speech. The title of a speech is the icebreaker, if you really ask me, because that puts the footing onto the audience. The audience knows what is coming, and most of the time, they don't even know what's coming. So that catches the attention. That's exactly what happened when you spoke, when you gave your title, Three Things Are True. Very catchy title, that's very good. There was a question mark in my mind, like, what am I going to hear now? So, and next one, I liked your intro. It was a very innovative way of introducing yourself. It was one where you asked the audience to engage with you, and engagement with an audience automatically wakes them up. Remember, we're all, let's be real here. We're all, boggled down, either early in the morning, or we're boggled down by being late in the night. We've got 100 things running in our mind, and something has to catch our attention so that we will actually sit down and listen. And you did that very effectively by engaging your audience. That was persuasive influence. Level 1, speech 1. All right. Kudos to you. Number 2, your communication style, I can see, is casual. You were very casual when you're talking to us. You were very casual in telling us about yourself. That is great, because that could be your communication style. Good job there. Number 3, we certainly got to know you, particularly in the area of your career. Why is it so important that we need to tell the audience about who we are? It's because it decks up our credibility as a speaker. Now, let's say I'm a doctor now, and I start speaking about IT. What credibility do I have? I have a credibility to talk about medical, about pharmaceutical drugs, about diseases and treatments, but I don't have the credibility to talk about IT, engineering, how do you plug a pipe? So therefore, you already put that across to us, your credibility as a speaker for future speeches. That was wonderful. The fourth one, really, I don't have anything else to say because your speech was good for a level 1 persuasive influence. The only thing I would want to add to it perhaps would be pauses. It would be nice to have pauses along the way. Just look into that one. I loved your speech. I look forward to hearing more about you and your knowledge, sharing it with us. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Mary and Doreen. Last but not the least, our own UD, DTM Padmakumar, evaluating Raghu's speech. May I please invite Padmakumar to evaluate Raghu's speech.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. What is worse than self-loathing and guilt? Not realizing that we are in that state. One could be in one of 4 stages. One, I don't know that I need help and I continue to suffer miserably. Stage 2, I know that I need help, but I don't know where to access it. Stage 3, I know where to access help and how to access it to overcome my challenges. And stage 4, I can access help and I can offer help to others who need it as well. So today, Toastmaster Raghu's speech was a demonstration of stage 4. Not only he demonstrated that he knew how to handle the challenge that he was undergoing or did undergo in the past, but he also had very valuable tips for us on how to maintain and build our relationships. The use of the language was also exemplary because he repeated for effect, I wish I could, I wish I could, I wish I could. And he also used the fading effect. I wish I could. Remarkably well done. Now, what is a recommendation that I can offer to Toastmaster Raghu for this great speech that he gave? Now, Toastmaster Raghu has a default sparkle in his eyes and a faint smile on his lips. For this speech, that wasn't the appropriate emotion. If we look at our Navrasa philosophy, this speech needed bibhatsa, a feeling of disgust, raudra, a feeling of anger, bhayanaka, a feeling of fear, and karunya, a feeling of compassion. Practicing these slightly difficult emotions by standing in front of the mirror and making the face say it in addition to the voice and the words to take this speech to the next level. So in summary, a brilliant speech, extremely self-aware and very nice use of vocal variety, a little preparation on managing display of emotions will take the speech to the level of brilliant beyond boundaries. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a very strong, and I agree everyone is in awe of the way you evaluated Raghu's speech. Next, I would like to call on our tag team, our counter and grammarian, Susan, to present her report. Toastmaster Susan, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. You started the meeting off by using the word preparation. You mentioned prepare 3 times and unprepared 3 times. Sarika, you also had 1 double clutch when you mentioned your. Next, I hiccuped on sponsors or mentors and Toastmasters. I should know which hat I wear, but so be it. Our first speaker, Kamesh, you said be prepared twice, and you had 1 double clutch on the word and. You had a couple of uhs and ums, and Raghu Ramkara, you mentioned the word preparation. You had 1 double clutch on little bit. You had no ahs and ums. A third speaker, Vamsi Allah, you had a double clutch on finding, and who had, and 1 on it. You had 2 uhs. And our fourth speaker, Guillermo, you had 3 ums and 1 ah. And I loved your phrases. Failure is not fatal and success is not final. I love those. Great wisdom to impart. Doreen, you used the word preparation. Raghu, you had one grammatical challenge where you said before eyes. And I think you were talking about when we see our lives pass before our eyes. The hour was missing from it. Then I will go to the evaluators. Jay, more than 5 uhs and 1 and Vamsi, as an evaluator, you had a double clutch on to the, and 3 uhs. Evaluator Pramod, you used the word preparation. Evaluator Ashvin Patel also used the word preparation. And I loved that you mentioned begrudgingly. Oh, no, that's Guillermo. He also, let's go back. The speaker 4, Guillermo, meteorites and begrudgingly. Love those. Ashvin, you had 1 and 2 ums. And I loved your quote, courage is what counts. Mary Thomas, 1 hiccup on the word it. And I loved your phrase, catchy title. That was very well said. And on Padma, you said the word preparation, and you used terminology of exemplary and remarkably, and you had 1 and And that would conclude my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. It would be many years before I reach Susan's level of eye to detail. With this, in the chat box, Shukrat already mentioned the timer's report. Shukrat, do you want to run that through us, or is it okay? We are 7 minutes. We are on time, so if you want to speak for a minute or so, I think we have time.
So after presenting my report, I got to know the importance of timer a bit more, because when you start your journey in your bike or car, you go with a smooth speed and you rapidly go on increasing the speed. There need to be a particular speed breaker when you need to stop and when you need to again accelerate your car. So that's the importance of time. So reading out the all names and time would take more time. So please see your timing respectively in the as I presented in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shukrat. Thank you for pitching in also at the last minute. Here ends our today's meeting. Before I wrap it up and give the virtual stage to our Sergeant at Arms, Amanda, I would just want to thank Mary for giving me this opportunity to be the Toastmaster of the day. And I am being the Toastmaster of the day after a very long time. And also to tell me that you can speak about, women and the role of women, because for me, that is a very, very special and a close topic. So thank you, Mary, for encouraging me and all the participants, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters friends, to be a part of my life. It feels really nice, irrespective of when you sleep, you wake up and you know that you are liked, you are loved, you're respected, and you are supported in each and every manner. Thank you so much for being wonderful today. And I would like to give the control to Toastmaster Raghu. Toastmaster Raghu, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sarika. Pasta and profession. My God, I was intrigued with this topic, but then you made it simple and for us to understand. I love the way that you always bring something about feminism in your speeches. Same time, last time when you spoke, You also talked about fake feminism and you criticized it. It's not something simple for anyone to do it. Talking about feminism and same time criticizing fake feminism. I'm proud of you, Sarika, the Toastmaster. You've done an exemplary job. And I'm proud of all the role players today and also the speakers. Something to know, Gujarme has joined just few weeks back. I think it's 2 to 3 weeks, and then he was he stepped up to speak today, and then I'm proud of him as the first speaker. First time giving a speech on ice break. His first speech, sorry about that, first speech, but he did a great job on his icebreaker. Doreen recently joined just last week, and then I loved your icebreaker. Great job. And all the speakers have done a good job. Kamesh and Raghuram has completed their level 1 with their speech today. I also love that Vamshi did a double job by as speaking and also evaluating speech. Mary and DTM Padmakumar and DTM Kamo, great job as evaluators there. I know DTM Padmakumar from year 2020 almost. He guided me being a coach of one of the clubs in India. But today was the first time that I got my speech evaluated by him, and I'm proud of that. I will ensure that you evaluate every time that I speak. It was a great thing to learn from you. Now, with that note, I want to invite guests in the meeting to see what they feel about the meeting. And is this an opportunity that you see to grow yourself and become a better version of yourself and grow on your professional and personal? I invite Karthi for his feedback.
Hello all.
Hi Karthik.
Yes, sir, there is a lot of learning in this Toastmaster session, and I really appreciate everyone who is exactly evaluating each and every speaker. I'm looking forward to join in this, and a lot of learning I can. Yes, I already spoke with you, Raghuram, right? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, audible, Karthik. Go on.
Yes, yes. Right now, I don't have any words to express, but a lot of learnings are there. Thank you. Looking forward to join and improve my growth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I forgot to mention that our usual timer, but speech evaluator today, Toastmaster Ashwin has done an exemplary job as an evaluator too. Apologies for forgetting your name while I was calling on names here. Let me invite our other guests in the meeting. Let me ask Steven. Steven, what do you feel about the meeting?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever your time is. So with regards to the question, with regards to my realization, I'm so grateful to witness the incredible, the fantastic speeches. It made me realize of many things, as well as I learned a lot of words, I learned a lot of quotes as well. I got from that of the speaker named by Guillermo, I think. It really reminds me of things that I thought something that I should look forward to doing. But yeah, success is subjective, so it doesn't end. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you, Stephen. Looking forward to you to join us as a member. Guest Abba. Ronak.
Hey, hi everyone. Thanks a lot. And I would like to thanks everyone for taking out the time and giving joining this call. Like when I started checking on Google, googling out like how can I improve my presentation skills and all those things, the first link which came to me was Toastmaster, and I was wondering like why people will join this club and will give a presentation and and being evaluated by a number of people, and that too at a free of cost. So I joined today. This is my first session, and I really liked. There's a counter of there's a number of speakers being evaluated by the 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 legends, and there's a counter of there's a counter of grammar. So like I really surprised also and excited to join, and thanks a lot once again.
Thank you, Ronak. Keep joining meetings, keep learning. I want to invite my long friend in Toastmaster who is planning to resume his Toastmaster journey, but I invited him to this meeting to see how we are doing. Toastmaster Shihas, I would like to hear about your feedback and also your intent to join this club.
Yeah, thank you, Raghu. Hi, everyone. So yes, like Raghu said, I was part of Toastmasters, but I have been procrastinating. Like one or the other things used to come, right? Like just like you said in your speech, I wish I could. So basically, I kept on holding the joining Toastmasters meet. But recently, I got a feedback from my manager that I really need to work on selling myself. So if I want to sell myself, I need to practice, right? And for that reason, I thought, I should keep all my ifs and buts apart, and this should be my priority. And that's the reason I just reached out to Raghu yesterday, and he shared this meeting invite. So I'm looking forward to join and resume my journey. That's all. And if there are other guests who are just thinking, I would definitely say that this is the right platform. You don't need to join. You can always join as a member, as a guest, to see what is going on. And whenever you think that the time is right to hop onto this bandwagon, feel free to do that. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster.
Here she has. The time is now. The time is now when you should start, because every minute counts. Every minute is a learning. How you want to utilize this. But then I won't say that Toastmaster is a magic lamp where you rub it and then you get everything. You have to work. For example, you see Shukrut also just joined, but he's actively taking roles. Same time, others also doing good job. Few of our members have joined through Speechcraft program, and now less than 1.5 or rather 2 months, they have completed their levels. Raghuram, Kamesh, and few others. It's all about how you want to practice, how you want to grow. So let me invite others, Gurmeet Singh. Gurmeet Singh, do you want to give feedback about the meeting, and also do you see this as a platform to grow?
Thanks, Raghu. Hi, everyone. I really enjoyed. This was my first session today. I'm really looking forward to be part of this group. I could really see myself promoting my learning there, improving upon my communication skills and managerial skills. So I'd really love to be part of this group, and maybe soon presenting the icebreaker session.
Thank you, Gurmeet.
Thanks, everyone.
I mean, that's a good guess, sir. Talking, you are already seeing yourself giving an icebreaker. You are what you see yourself as. Wonderful. Let me invite our dear guest, Vinay Kumar. Vinay, do you want to talk about your experience in the meeting today?
Yeah, thank you, Raghu, for giving me this opportunity to give some feedback. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for inviting Raghu, for sending this message in the WhatsApp, so that I got to know that there is something is going on for professionals. Am I audible, or my voice is very low?
You're audible.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there is always a lot of learning in the Toastmaster. Not only the words what you speak, the how we speak. I was really surprised the way DTM Padma Kumar gave the review. Raghu's speech was very flawless. It was so amazing. I was totally so much motivated. I didn't find anything wrong. Out of that, Padma Kumar gave those kind of reviews. It's really so amazing to know and understand how there's a lot of things to learn. He has given the review in the form of like emotions, how you can create emotions when you are giving the speech. The speech was good, emotion was good, but I really speechless the way he has done it. I was literally wondering like what is the review he was going to give with such a flawless, but wow, that is so much. And the icebreaker speech, I'm sure Gorilla something. Okay, sorry if I'm not able to pronounce. Uh, it was not like an icebreaker speech, and the way he was waving his hands, the stage show, I was really. I mean, it was very amazing to learn so many. The way everyone is speaking and the review. I mean, in fact, I joined Toastmaster recently for last couple of months, and I'm seeing a lot of improvement. I'm a very kind of introvert person. I was not able to ask anyone, but because of this wonderful platform, I'm learning a lot. I hope I will keep on learning new things with all the people around. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And then whoever is interested to join as a member, please leave your phone number or email ID, and then we will reach out to you. With that note, I will adjourn the meeting officially and stop the